My name is Barbara Van Cleve. I am a documentary black and white still photographer, and I was inducted into the National Cowgirl Museum and Hall of Fame in October of 1995. The name of the exhibit is Pure Quill. It's a Montana idiomatic expression that means the real deal, totally authentic. I can tell you one. It's from my series, which I shot using the light of the moon. Only the light of the moon, no other kind of light. And it's called A Quiet Night Under the Big Dipper, because you can see the Big Dipper very clearly kind of hanging over the bed ground where the Black Angus cattle are lying down. It was a beautiful, clear night. The stars were just there. It was shot on the ranch. It's my nephew on horseback, and he had to be very still for 12 seconds in order to make the exposure. Well, his horse was just full of it, and he was pawing and switching his tail and stamping his hind leg, and finally the horse stood still long enough, and I was able to make the exposure. The other shot that, oh boy, I really like, I just love it. It's called Graceful Control. It is a shot of 3 Lipizzaner stallions, and I shot it in Santa Fe, New Mexico, in a gymnasium years ago, and they had a ratty blue velvet curtain in the background. I had thought, I didn't come with a zoom lens or anything, I thought, oh, I'll be able to talk my way into getting out there on the floor, get close, be able to shoot just the way I want to. I got a little education. I realized and was told that I could not get out there, and I was working at getting the synchronization of the legs, and the 3 stallions have their legs in a beautiful synchronized position, and the heads are in the same way. One head here, next one there, next one here. I went for high contrast. I wanted those stallions to really look brighter. I wanted the blue velvet background to just go black. You can see a little glint from an epaulette on one of the shoulders, and that is matched by kind of a shaft of light off to the left that comes from probably an overhead light in a gymnasium. Now I've told you, and you will never be able to look at that photograph again without thinking of all the details. But of itself, it's a gem, and I'm very proud of that photograph. What I look for in a great photograph, or in any photograph I make, is light. Light is what photography is about. I try never to use artificial light, and I hate flash. But you can, and I will use reflectors sometimes, or sometimes a little handheld LED light that you can scale up or down in intensity if I need to fill light in an area somewhere. But basically, photography is light, and the greatest light is sunlight. The book is really a look at my entire life as a photographer, how I grew into it, how I always practiced photography on the side, even though I was a teacher, a college professor, a dean of women for a little while, but always there was photography, because it was my passion in life, along with ranch life. But photography, I think, had to supersede that a little bit. And this book covers that entire span. It covers how I grew as a photographer visually, the various projects I came up with, and people will see this in the show. For me, it's a crowning kind of achievement, and I'm so proud, and I'm so happy, and I have to honestly say humbled that somebody wanted to write about my career, I would say there are definitely some challenges to photographing on horseback. I think you are handling a camera of some weight, definite weight. You also have the reins in your hand for the horse. So you've got to have a horse that is attuned to you, is very responsive to how you are trying to guide it. My reins are always in my left hand. My right hand was for the camera. And when I really had to steady it, I could use both the hands that held the reins as well as the right hand. But that's at a walk or even a little easy trot, because when you post, you rise up and there's a moment of hesitation and you can make the shot. But galloping, you have to have a good horse. You have to have faith in that horse that it's not going to stumble. So that might catapult you off or your camera off or wreck everything, the camera and you or me. And I think you have to be an accomplished horse person to do that. You also have to be, I think, an accomplished photographer. You have to shoot at a very high shutter speed, and you have to be careful that when you're shooting you don't get the horse's ears in the bottom of the picture. There are challenges, but there are rewards, because from on horseback you can ride anywhere you want to. I could ride anywhere I want to get the composition that I wanted, to be able to frame the picture the way I wanted it. I hope that the visitors who see my exhibition will see basically how beautiful that life is. And that's a life that's multifaceted in my case. Being born and raised on a ranch, loving ranching, feeling that it is the best kind of life. It certainly isn't a life that's going to make you wealthy unless you have one of those big pumpers in the back 40 somewhere. That'll help a lot. But you have to depend upon the weather and upon the cattle prices. But it's a beautiful life out there. Family close. When you're growing up as a youngster, you know that your work is important to the success of the family ranch. And I'm hoping that people will get a sense of all of that from my photographs and realize that I came out of that life. And this is my interpretation, my vision, my take on it, and what I want to share with other people.